morning, students. How are you all? Students, I hope you all are fine and utilizing the time which has been given to you. Children, keep on completing your work well on time. Keep on making beautiful notes so that it will be easy and enjoyable for you to learn from them. Beta, as you know that we have completed our chapter number 1, the sentences, and I really hope that you all have completed the exercise also. Make sure, children, that the exercise of grammar you will be practicing yourself, and then you will be matching the answers from the PDF which we will send you. It should not be copy and paste, that we are sending you the solution and you are not putting your efforts, because grammar comes by practice only. Now, we are going to start chapter 2 of your grammar, that is the structure of a sentence. In chapter 1, we learned the definition of a sentence. Then we learned subject and predicate. Further we learned the type of sentences, and now it's time to learn the structure of a sentence. Obviously, children, subject we all know that doer of the action. But there are a few things which you need to understand in predicate part. In predicate part, beta, predicate may be a verb. It may be a verb and an object, or a verb and a complement. Now, what is object? What is complement? These all details we are going to learn in your chapter number 2. Now, focus on the text and let's learn the structure of a sentence.
Chapter number 2, Structure of a Sentence. Children, this chapter we are going to discuss today. As we all know, beta, and we have discussed this in our previous chapter also, that in a sentence there are two parts. One is subject, another is predicate. The subject and the predicate, of course, the subject may be a noun phrase, a pronoun, a gerund, etc. We all know about noun. If I write a book, then of course it's a noun. If I write a book or the book, then it is noun phrase. He, she, it, the words which replace noun, they are called pronoun. And gerund means first form plus ing. So what do I mean to say? That a subject can be noun or noun phrase, pronoun or a gerund. Besides this, means in addition to this, the predicate may be a verb and an object, or a verb and a complement. So anyhow, we are going to understand the structure of a sentence in this chapter. Now beta, focus carefully and connect. Here are 5 examples given. Along with that, 5 explanation is given. Now look carefully, children. Birds fly. In first sentence, the subject is a noun, which is bird. A rich man helped me. In sentence 2, the subject is a noun phrase, a rich man. He is a good student. In third sentence, he is a pronoun. To smoke means to infinitive. Swimming means gerund, or we can call it first form plus ing, which is acting as a noun. So here only, children, our this definition gets proved that a subject may be a noun phrase, pronoun, a gerund, or to infinitive. Further, children, we are going to understand that how a subject can be enlarged, the enlargement and structure of the subject. There are two ways that if we want to give more information about the subject means the noun, we can either use pre-modifier or we can use post-modifier. Pre-modifier and post-modifier. Later on, we will talk about the enlargement and structure of the subject. But before that, these two terms should be clear. Children, take the example prepaid and postpaid. There are two services, prepaid and postpaid. In one service, we pay for the service and then we avail the service. That is prepaid. Means we have paid the amount earlier but we avail the service later on. That is pre, means pehle. Another is postpaid. Obviously we utilize the service first of all and then later on we pay for that. That is post. Pre means earlier, before. Post means later, or we can call it after. In the same way, the words which are used to give more information about the subject, if those words have been added before the subject, then they are pre-modifier. If modifiers are added after the subject, then they are post modifier. Let's see example. Subject and predicate. Here, a big city stood on the river. Barking dogs seldom bite. In these two examples, a big city, the adjective big pre-modifies the noun city. Which is noun here? City. And the adjective big is used before city. So, of course, it is pre-modifying. Big is used as pre-modifier here. Another example, the participle adjective is being used, the participle adjective barking is used before dogs. What is dog? Noun. So definitely this is also pre-modifier which is used before a noun, that is the dog. Further, children, since a noun phrase can function as the subject of a sentence, noun phrase can also be expanded in such a way. Chair is a noun. In all these examples, a single noun is there, chair. But how can we expand by adding pre-modifiers? Chairs, noun. We have added article. Chair is noun and a is article. In another example, chair is the same but costly adjective is added. Further, a chair is same, adverb and adjective, costly adverb very is added. The chairs, article, noun again the same, but we have added ordinal, quantifier and adjectives. Now, what do you mean by ordinal? So here it is written beta clearly that if we write first, second, third, these are called ordinal numbers. If we write 1, 2, 3, then of course they are cardinal numbers. This you might have read many a times in your maths. So in this way, children, we can modify, we can enlarge our subject by adding sometimes article, sometimes ordinal, quantifier, adjective, etc. Similarly, this we talked about enlargement of subject by adding pre-modifier. But we can enlarge our subject by post-modifying it. Shaleen, the man, again the man, the fact. These are subjects. Now we are not adding modifiers before them. Rather, we are adding modifiers after the subject. After, of course, means post. Look at the examples. Shaleen, my friend is a doctor. Here the noun Shaleen is post modified by noun phrase my friend. The man with the red shirt. The man is noun phrase. It is modified by prepositional phrase with red shirt. The man again noun phrase. It is post modified by adjective clause. Who is wearing? Who is wearing means adjective clause. So in such way, by adding pre-modifier and post-modifier, we can enlarge our subject. There are only two ways, pre-modifier and post-modifier, that we can enlarge the subject. Here subject is there. If we are adding modifying words, then pre-modifier. If we are adding words after subject, then they are post-modifier. I hope till here, children, no problem is there. Till now we have talked about enlargement of subject. Now it's time to learn about enlargement of predicate. Predicate means the part which is except subject, means this part of the sentence. Sometimes a verb will be added, sometimes complement, sometimes object. So let's learn through patterns. In the very first pattern bete, it can be seen that only and only a verb is given. Subject, birds, fire, the sun, and verb is there, fly, burn, shines. So the predicate may be one verb only. We can add adverb to the verb. He walked slowly. They do not have any object. So definitely the verbs which do not have any object, they are always called intransitive verbs. For your understanding, subject and verb, this is your pattern 1. Now pattern 2. In pattern 2, we will get a subject, verb and complement. Subject, we all know that no sentence is complete without a subject. Of course, a linking verb is also required. That linking verb can be is, am, are, was, were. They can be look, seem, etc. These verbs are called linking verbs, which connects between subject and complement. And here is the example. His father is a doctor. Beta, if I say his father a doctor, she intelligent, the book here, does it make any sense? Of course not. So to complete the pattern, to complete the structure, a linking verb is always required. Further we have pattern 3. Children, in pattern 3, a complement is there, subject is there, which we read in pattern 2. Now we have direct object, verb is there, subject is there, this we have already read. Now a complement is there, and in complement in pattern 3 we will get a direct object that will give the answer of what. Now read these sentences, beta. The cat killed what? The rat. He broke what? The window. She opened what? The door. So in pattern 3, students, we will get a subject, verb, and after verb only a question will be arised. What? And the answer of this verb, the answer of this what will be given by direct object, that means the complement. Further we have pattern 4. In pattern 4 we will get, remaining things are same which we have understood till now. Subject you all know, verb you all know, direct object you all know. What is direct object? Like the children are playing, children are enjoying puppet show. Puppet show, what they are doing, on which they are doing, that is a direct object on which directly the action is going on by the doer, by the subject. Now, like he gave a book, what he gave? A book. That is direct object because we got the answer of what also. Now, what is this? Indirect object. In pattern 4, indirect object will be added, and indirect object always gives the answer of whom. See in all these sentences, he gave a book. To whom? To me. She bought a doll. To whom? To the child. I blow. I struck blow. I struck blow. To whom? To him. So in pattern 4, students, indirect object will be present in the sentence, which will always give the answer of whom. Another is pattern 5, in which children, subject we all know, verb we all know, object also we know. Object means connection of subject is directly with it. We found the servant. There is no other indirect object or anything. We found the servant. He put the book. What the doer did? He just put the book. That is direct object. Now in this pattern 5, we will learn about object complement. Focus on object. Keep focusing on object and start adding the complement. That complement can be a noun, adjective, or any adverb. They elected him what? Chairman. The servant honest. We found the servant what? Honest. He put the book where? There. Noun means obviously in this pattern object will be complemented. We will get to know more about object. That's why it is called object complement. Further we have pattern 6. In 6 children, the easiest pattern it is subject will be there, verb will be there, and infinite form of the verb. Infinite form of the verb means 2 plus first form of the verb. 2 plus first form of the verb means infinite verb, which does not have any effect, which singular, plural, whichsoever subject is there, it does not have any effect. That will always remain 2 plus first form of the verb. She can agree to marry him. I didn't bother to meet him. So the pattern is quite easier. Subject, verb and infinite form of the verb. Further in next pattern students, we will come to know that pattern 7. Here subject is there, verb is there and a gerund will be there. In predicate part, gerund will be there, and in pattern 8 quite similarity is there. Let's discuss pattern 7 only. First of all, in pattern 7, subject is there, verb is there and gerund is there. Gerund means first form plus ing. Gerund means first form plus ing. I avoided meeting him. Beta, gerund always acts as a noun. I avoided what? Meeting him. He enjoys what? Playing cards. Although in next pattern also first form plus ing is given, but it is not called a gerund, rather it is called present participle. The formation of both is first form plus ing, but gerund works as noun, present participle works as adjective in the sentence. Now let's see pattern 8. In pattern 8, subject and verb and object will be there. Subject is there, verb is there, object is there. But it will take present participle also. Subject, found verb, object her, present participle cooking. We heard the bell ringing. Object complement hai in present participle form. We heard the bell ringing. It is the object which is ringing. I saw him playing, not I playing. It's him which is playing. So it can be called object complement also, but it is in present participle form. So children, it was all about the explanation of chapter number 2, that is the structure of a sentence. I advise you to watch and listen the video very carefully, and on the basis of your understanding, practice this chapter exercises, so that beta we all know that grammar comes by practice only. Learn this chapter, understand this chapter and do the exercise. Till then, goodbye. We will meet soon with a new topic of grammar. Goodbye everyone.